Name is Ralph Stowe, Stowe.
Okay, so tell us about this program, the St. Rock's uh, Foundation. Why don't you tell us how you got started in the beginning? Like what caused you?
Do Do you want a long answer?
I want the long answer.
You want the long answer? Okay. In 1981, my oldest son was a senior in high school, and I had the opportunity to go on a retreat to Haiti with a group of about 22 people. We went to Haiti. We visited the Mother Teresa's home for the child, for the dying, the Mother Teresa's home for the kids, and we spent 4 or 5 days in a missionary way up in Jeremy, which is way out on the the western tip of Haiti. Took us 13 hours in the back of a jeep to get there. When I finished the 10-day retreat, I come home and I was completely dumbfounded. Uh, and I knew I had to go back. So I went back the following year with a group from Connecticut. And again, I spent a long time there. I spent another week there. The same thing. I come home and I had to go back again. I decided to write to three people in Haiti. Mother Monique, who hosted us when we came there on a retreat. Father Guello, a priest that has been in Haiti for 30 years, and Father Bonin, who built a soup kitchen in Port-au-Prince. I wrote to all three of them and said that I was a teacher and I had the summer off and I'd like to come there for 5 or 6 weeks and work with you. I didn't get an answer from any one of them. And after thinking about it, I said to myself, all I am to them is another mouth to feed. So I decided to go anyway. I sat down and I figured the days I wanted to go. I was going to go on a Friday afternoon and stay for 5 weeks. I went down to my travel agent and was talking to her, and I says, I want to go on Monday morning. And so we arranged the trip and everything for 5 weeks. I had no one I was going to go and see. I was just going to get on there, make some contacts, and see if I could work and help some of the people that needed help. When I walked out of the travel agency, I said, why did I say Monday and not Friday? And 2 days before I was supposed to go to Haiti, I got a call from this woman in Peabody that ran these trips. And she said to me, Mother Monique and Father Guello are both here in Boston. Do you want to come to a potluck, a mass and a potluck supper on Sunday? And I said, yes, I would love to come because I'm going to Haiti Monday morning. And it just struck me then that there's something far beyond me going to Haiti, but it's somebody else leading me to Haiti. So anyway, I sat down with them at the dinner, and I told them I was going to Haiti and what I was hoping to do. And Mother Monique took an envelope and tore the triangular piece off of it and wrote some instructions where to go, where I could sleep that night, and they would put me to work. So I did. I worked there building desks in small schools, doing all kinds of work for the nuns. When I had 4 days left to go, they took me to another school. They had a church and a school called City Militaire. And I went over there, and they had like a courtyard where the kids played soccer. And they had these classrooms on both sides. And there must have been about 10 or 12 doors hanging on their hinges, or no doors at all, or nothing. And they said to me, can you fix these doors? Now, you have to realize I don't have electricity. I don't have very few tools. And I said, how can I do this? And I said, give me a few minutes. And I went over in the corner and I kind of looked up in the air and I says, you got me here for a reason. Can I do this? And within 5 minutes, I was writing on my pad, writing all of the things that I needed to do this work. And I came there. The kids could not play soccer while I was working, so I put all the kids to work. And all I had was a handsaw and a hammer, and we fixed all of those doors. I couldn't believe it myself, but when I got back the next year, they had painted them all, and they looked fantastic. And I bought a soccer ball for the kids that worked with me. So fast forward a little bit, every summer, the next 5 or 6 summers I went there and worked with different people. And every time I went there, I talked to a Haitian in Boston and got the names of their parents, what village they lived in, where they lived, and I went to visit parents. I spent 4 or 5 days every summer going to different parts of Haiti and visiting different families. This particular time I went to visit St. Roch. I went to visit a parent up in St. Roch. They lived in a 2-room shack, dirt floors. They sat me down on a rocking chair and fed me coffee. And I just fell in love with St. Roch. And the person said, anytime you come here, if you want to go up to St. Roch for a few days, you're welcome. It's like it's your house. And so I did. And one time I was there with the woman, Janita. I think you've met her. Janita, and I said, I want to experience walking all the way down the mountain. And when I went down the mountain, I came across the building, which is now a clinic. It was a building that was being built for an orphanage, and the man died halfway through it, and it just sat there for like 13, 14 years. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and it's almost like when I walked on that porch, somebody put their hand on my shoulder and says, you can do something with this building. So I finally negotiated back and forth, and I found the means, the money to, it was funny, I had renovated a house in Hull, Nantasket Beach, and when I was building it, I had it figured out that it would sell for about $165,000. And the economy went down, and I couldn't sell it for $135,000. While I'm negotiating for this piece and trying to make up my mind whether I should buy it and start the clinic or not, the economy went back up again, and I sold this house for over $200,000. So that money I used to buy this property and finish it and make a clinic out of it. So that is how it started.
Wow, okay. So
that was a long answer.
Yeah. No, it's great. So what was your main goal when you started?
The main goal was to provide health care for them. In the years I went there and I wandered around, there was an old building and a doctor's sign up, but he had gone many years before. If these people up there, which the Board of Health tells me now, there's some 25,000 people up in the villages up there, and if anybody needs any medical help, they have to go all the way down below and pay quite a bit of money for it. So my means was to give them some kind of health care.
Okay. So, so how was the clinic? What was the clinic like when you started? Like, how did people get in? How did you, like, get the word out that, people could come in and...
Well, I think I made a mistake there. If I had it all to do it over again, I would have somebody speak off the altar and tell them what I was planning before I did it. Only because the Haitians are very proud people, and they don't like somebody to come in there and kind of tell them what to do. I should have told them what I was going to do ahead of time. But I did have somebody who spoke off the altar and told them the clinic when it was opening. The pastor of the church came down and blessed the whole building. And it took us close to 2 years, I would say, to gain the trust.
Well, yeah, let's
It,
wait till you answer that because that's really loud. Okay, no, I think
it
it's good.
took us close to 2 years to get the trust of the people and the trust of the people to start supporting us to do this work. But in 2002, I had 3 people come to Haiti. Those two, not those 2 people, 2 women, and Catherine Liberalist came there. And we planned it, when we went, we planned a dinner right afterwards in Jake's. And we had like 65, 70 people there, and we've been solvent ever since.
So sorry, moving back to what you were saying about Haitians being proud. So what like reservations do they have about why wouldn't they go to the clinic?
Because we actually in the beginning we weren't charging anything. It was like a free clinic, and that they're proud. They need to pay us. Finally, the pastor of the church told us, "Look, you've got to charge something, because they won't come if everything is for free. They need to pay something to come down there and receive medical care." So we started charging them.
Okay. So how did you get volunteers then after that point? Like it was just you, right, at this point? Or was it you
and the 3 people that came there before? And the word got out through the church that we were going to run groups, and they had a chance to experience a third world country and a clinic on the top of a mountain. There would be plenty for them to do, and slowly we had 4 or 5 trips every single year.
Right. So how did you said obviously you had the money from the house that you sold to buy the property, but how did you get the money to like sustain it for so many
The
years?
people started giving us. I started a $10 a month club, and I got the word out. And a lot of people gave me $10 a month, and they raised it to $15 a month, some $20 a month. And there are people today, this is our 10th year, and there are still people that give me that $10, $20 check every single month.
Right. So what are the actual programs like within the St. Roch community? Like I know you have the adoption where you can like.
We started, first of all, we started a